The Witcher 3 has several simple side quests that, despite their lack of depth, manage to make a meaningful impact. Sometimes, though, they are too simple, and the writers try to mask that simplicity with plot devices or poorly implemented gameplay twists. And for a couple of examples, let's look at Blood Ties and the Contract Patrol Gone Missing, two quests you pick up at the Nilfgaardian base camp in southern Velen. Blood Ties begins when Geralt encounters this worried Nilfgaardian mother who wants to find her son, and feels as if the Nilfgaardian quartermaster is hiding something. And what he's hiding is that her son was a deserter, and Geralt then has to find her son to bring this grieving mother some peace. Meanwhile, Patrol Gone Missing has that same quartermaster pay Geralt for his services in finding one of his patrols that has gone missing. Geralt tracks the patrol to a Draconid's hunting grounds, but discovers that there is potentially more to this story than just a simple patrol gone missing. Now, the Nilfgaardian invasion is the backdrop to The Witcher 3, but the game rarely actually focuses on that after White Orchard. And these two quests, which are picked up in this underutilized area of the map, feel like a deliberate attempt to fill this gap. But there's a couple of problems. Neither quest ends up being anything more than a shallow and generic observation about the horrors of war. There's something missing here, some important ingredient that makes The Witcher 3 The Witcher 3. These are very simple run-of-the-mill quests, and when CDPR does try to inject some depth to them, it's poorly implemented in the case of Patrol Gone Missing, and uninspired in the case of Blood Ties. For example, the mother in Blood Ties knows the Nilfgaardian quartermaster is lying to her about her red-headed son. And that quartermaster is delightfully smarmy and holier-than-thou when Geralt brings up the worried mother.
What if all Nilfgaard's mothers came to find their sons? Can you imagine?
So he's got a rich personality there. Surely the choice of bribing him or using Axii on him will yield some interesting differences. Well, here's how he reacts when he's been bribed for info on the mother's red-headed son.
A short time ago, he and several of his company sought to desert. I ordered them pursued. We hanged them. Wartime rules. But I cannot say the red-haired boy was among them.
You might be wondering, why does he sound so sleepy? And that's because this is the same dialogue that plays if you Axii him. The only difference is when you bribe him, there's this really quick discussion about, hey, how are you bribing me? Why are you bribing me? And Geralt's like, yeah, I'm bribing you. And the guy's like, oh, okay. And we move on. There's no actual choice here. It just gives off the impression of a choice. Now, this isn't a big deal by itself, but the quest constantly peters out when it threatens to get interesting. The quartermaster says the red-headed son may be alive, which could have led to a meaty choice where Geralt has to figure out whether to keep that news secret from the mother or encourage the son to risk reuniting with his mother even though the army wants him dead. But instead, he's already dead, which is kind of a letdown. And I keep mentioning that the son had red hair, and that's because every character keeps bringing it up. Red hair, red hair, red hair. That's all that Geralt, the mother, and the quartermaster say. And I kept thinking that the red hair was going to play into why this kid died, maybe. But no, the red hair is purely a functional element, a way for it to make sense that Geralt is able to identify the son amongst a group of dead deserters.
Red hair. Probably him.
And I find that very uninspiring, because it felt like the story was going to say something about how Nilfgaard treats its own. But no, instead it's a generic story about what happens to deserters. Nothing about this is unique to the world of The Witcher 3, it's by the numbers, and that goes for the note that Geralt finds as well. Yeah, the writers set it up that this son sends letters to his loved ones constantly, so it doesn't end up being overly convenient when Geralt finds this helpful bit of exposition. But you know what? It's still too convenient, because listen to what Geralt says.
Red hair. Probably him. Need to find something else to know for sure.
Okay, so would Geralt just fail this quest if the kid didn't happen to like writing notes? This is what I mean about the extra elements feeling manufactured in this quest. The red hair, the note, these are just elements that are here so that Geralt can solve the investigation neatly. But the note doesn't add anything substantial to Blood Ties. It does add some flavor elsewhere though.
This place is a nightmare. I have borne it until now. I can bear it no longer. Not long past, they ordered us to murder prisoners. Do you know what this means? To kill defenseless men. I must flee this place.
Hey, those death squads are who Geralt is searching for unknowingly in Patrol Gone Missing, which is a connection I appreciate. Having this larger underlying narrative linking two side quests harkens back to the amazing Devil by the Well contract, and how the story of that quest was interwoven into optional conversations throughout White Orchard. And back in the present, we have more connective tissue with the involvement of the scumbag quartermaster.
Small unit, isolated area. Might have gone at your men with pitchforks.
A handful of yokels in ragged foot wrappings cut down a unit of Imperial scouts. What else? Perhaps a dragon ate them. Esse bleu yoke.
So there are bits of that trademark Witcher 3 cleverness here, because this exchange takes on a sinister air when you realize the soldiers he's talking about are escorting those yokels he mocked to execute them. And he jokes about the soldiers being dragon food, and they in fact are eaten by a dragon-like creature, a wyvern. But the problem with Patrol Gone Missing is that, just like Blood Ties, it's a simple quest masked with added complexity. And whereas those added elements just made Blood Ties feel uninspired, the added elements to Patrol Gone Missing make this quest a complete mess. The Witcher 3 has some pretty basic rules their quests generally abide by. You've got a linear trail of easily found clues, you've got Geralt talking through the investigation out loud and very descriptively.
Either the merchant's got serious memory problems, or he's lying.
And the quest objectives update almost too much. It's a template that The Witcher 3 follows rigorously since its opening moments, and Patrol Gone Missing decides to play with this structure but in an extremely careless way. For example, when Geralt first gets to the woods, he finds these tracks.
Boot prints, but also some bare feet. Strange. Need to follow these deeper into the woods.
And he follows these tracks until he gets to a smell, which he then follows until he discovers this.
Draconid musk. Fresh smelling. Must have settled in around here recently.
So usually the game will do something here to help the player understand what's happening. Either the quest objective will update, or Geralt will say something that makes the story make more sense, or there's another clue to find. But this Draconid musk just sort of ends at a dead end, and then there's nothing. There's silence. This game that signposts everything clearly and obviously is now just not saying anything. So every time I've played this quest, what happens now is I backtrack and fumble around searching for more clues. And the Draconid musk can also be followed in the other direction from the main path, but it's the same situation again. And so I end up repeatedly crisscrossing this area for like 3 to 4 minutes, searching frantically for something I missed, because the game is just not acting like itself. And this is how the next several minutes play out.
Nilfgaardian prince again. Came this way escorting a group of barefoot peasants. Nilfgaardian prince again. Came this way. Nilfgaardian prince again. Came this way. Nilfgaardian prince again.
Now you can see me getting frustrated there, because in those clips you could see Geralt jumping, and that's me trying to X out of this dialogue that I'd heard numerous times at this point. There's no reason this quest or quest analysis should be this confusing, but I've lost where I'm at in both. Thankfully, I just found a clue, so let's see what it says.
Nilfgaardian prince again.
Now, it might sound like I'm complaining that the game is making me figure out things for myself, but it's not really that. It's more a matter that The Witcher 3 long ago set the expectation that its strength is in using exposition and player aids to enhance the narrative, but Patrol Gone Missing decides to go maverick and is worse off for it. Like, Geralt finds evidence of a wyvern victim, bodies being dragged around, necrophage bites, a burial mound, a ghoul's nest, but he's super vague about all of these things and never ties anything together. Meanwhile, going back to the freaking Pan quest from White Orchard, Geralt explains in great detail all of his observations, despite that being the Witcher 3 version of him finding something in a lost and found box. And it doesn't help that with Patrol Gone Missing, the quest objective only updates after the wyvern is dead, and then never again, no matter what further evidence Geralt finds. Now the reason for this is that CDPR wanted you to be able to solve this quest incorrectly, for lack of a better word. Basically, you would just say, the wyvern killed the soldiers, and call it a day. Other quests like Wild at Heart handled this well, but that's because Geralt screwing up an investigation in that one felt like a purposeful role-playing decision. This quest, however, feels broken because they decide not to share information with the player, which leads to me asking dumb question after dumb question. Who killed the Nilfgaardian soldiers? What killed the Nilfgaardian soldiers? Did the ghouls kill the Nilfgaardian soldiers? Or did the wyvern kill these other people? Who are the other people? Wait, there were other people? Why were the ghouls here? Who dug up what? Who dragged a body here? Did a wyvern kill anyone? What the fuck is happening? I have no idea. Plot threads are just getting left hanging because unless I'm mistaken, this is the final clue you find.
No uniform, no boots. Clearly not a Nilfgaardian soldier. Someone from the village nearby.
That's a very open-ended statement, so I assumed, with no elaboration from Geralt or updated quest objectives, that there were more clues to find. But other than the stench that led me into the cave in the first place, there was nothing! And I only figured this out after running around aimlessly for like 5 minutes because of the lack of clarity. And Geralt usually says something, anything, but for some reason, he just keeps his mouth shut. And of course, the quest objective doesn't update here. The only reason I actually understand what happened is because I rewatched this footage for this video, and if you talk to the quartermaster, Geralt finally clears things up.
Discovered something else. You didn't send those boys out to scout. That was a death squad. Let some Redanian prisoners out there. Executed them.
Wait, Geralt never actually said that these people were executed when he was investigating things. He found a grave, he found bodies, he found tracks, but he was just super vague throughout. He never once said, those people were executed. That's my Geralt voice. I don't know, patrols aren't the only thing gone missing here. The attention to detail's also gone missing. And to tie all of this back up with blood ties, let's go back and listen to the mother read her son's note. And I'll helpfully show an image of that note over the dialogue so we can read along.
Mother, this may well be the last time I write. In all my letters I have lied. Forgive me. I am no hero. I take no pleasure in killing Nordlings.
That's not the same note! What the hell is this? If it was one or two sentences that were different, that'd be one thing, but none of this is the same. What she reads mentions Nordlings, this place being a nightmare, how her son doesn't feel like a hero, and being a part of the death squads and patrol gone missing, but the note says none of that. It's so sloppy. Like, imagine if I showed that same lack of care for attention to detail and my video was playing one thing and my audio was playing another. What would you think? I don't know, but thankfully I will never have that issue. I go over these videos in excruciating detail. I'm not distracted by strange smells like Geralt, so there's never any major editing mistakes. I don't just add random crap about myself that no one cares about. I keep it focused on The Witcher 3, and it's that focus and attention to detail that makes it easy for me to ask for your likes and subscriptions. I'm a tireless worker who rarely takes a break. I'm always full of energy, and I will not rest until my next video is done. You can count on that.